Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I want to make sure this is on. It is, it is, it is. My talk today, Let Go and Let God. We've heard this so many times, especially in this teaching. And people say, well, what does that mean? Let go and let God. And I saw this, and I don't know, I was thinking of this a couple months ago. And I thought, something came up to me. If you put D after go, you've got God. And I found this online when I was looking at my talk, and I thought, how perfect is that? I mean, just the go with a D, and you've got God. So let go and let God, all you have to do is add the D. And what does D stand for? How about desire, decision, determination, discovery? And I know you could probably add a few, huh? I went in, I tried to find, D words on the internet. And there were so many D words, and a lot of them I didn't want to use. So, but I thought, well, this kind of fits into what we're talking about, desire and decision. And once you have a desire and you make a decision to go after that desire, things happen. It's magical. And other things, some people just say that, it's helpless. You just kind of let it go. And it's just, I found this, I feel helpless. I don't know what to do. I can't do anything else. I've done all I can do. At least all that I want to do. Different, right? I'll defer my authority to somebody else and just do the best, accept whatever consequences may happen. How do you think that's the best definition for let go and let God? I've done it. I don't know about you. I've done it. Let go and let God and say, How many victims? Anybody ever been a victim in here? Why me? Oh, it's drudgery. Whoa, 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 right? We do this to ourselves all the time. We allow ourselves to be the victim. And we give our power away to whomever we think is victimizing us. Now, don't get me wrong. There are victims out there. Little child, by the way, that is not able to help themselves. But we do it to ourselves all the time. We become victims of life because of the things that we have going on in our lives. So it's basically saying that this example is a person believes that consciously or subconsciously that he or she is unable to affect change in the world. Often people in this mindset see things that are happening to them rather than through them. So whenever you get to that, oh God, why me? Just go to, oh God. It's for me. It's through me. Oh, why have I created this in my life? Where is it coming from? And I should have made this bigger, shouldn't I? Life is 10% what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. Any reactors in here? Yeah, me too. Instead of something, instead of stepping back and taking a deep breath when somebody says something, you kind of go, right? And you hold your breath for a minute and you go, oh, there it is again. Oh. And sometimes we react, or we act out of what we have regurgitated so many times in our life. React. So, how much baggage are you carrying around? Anybody know? You want to do that for me? And how many times does somebody bring you your baggage? Or point your baggage out to you? Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, would you? Make sure that it opens the right way. Thank you. I have my baggage with me, do you? And you know something? You do too. And we carry it around with us wherever we go. See, I only got one suitcase left. Used to look like this. Anybody identify? Okay, so shall we open this up and see what's hiding in here? Open, open, open. Okay. Now, I'm not afraid of the first ones because I'm working on these, and these are right on the surface, right? Stories I've told myself. Okay, what stories have I told myself? Ooh, I have insecurities and self-worth problems. Anybody else? Right? Especially when somebody pushes that button that I've had buried somewhere, and that insecurity or unworthiness feeling comes back, and we step right into that, don't we? We go, and that feeling is right there. Okay? Sometimes we just keep it for a while. Other times we keep it for a long time. What else do we have going on here? Oh, sometimes I tell myself I'm unhappy or lonely. Anybody else in here? Am I the only one that I tell myself that to? You know, yeah, there's a hand back there. Thank you. We'll get together for lunch, okay? Okay. Oh, this is a biggie for me, and I'm still working on this. I'm invisible. I don't know about you, but there are times that I'm together with people, and I can be in a crowd of people or sitting having lunch or whatever, and people around me are talking, and all of a sudden I realize that they're just all talking, and I'm sitting there, and I'm not even being involved in the conversation. And there goes that thing back, oh, see, you're still invisible. They don't even see you because they're talking to each other. So I tell myself, well, it's because you're not engaging them. You're acting invisible, right? So I start talking and get involved in the conversations, and they talk to me for a second, and then all of a sudden they go back to talking to themselves, and I said, see, I just proved I was invisible. Anybody else, anytime, feel like you're invisible? That some of the things that you do just don't add up, or people just don't recognize? And it's not the ego. Sometimes it's just the fact that maybe you've hidden all your life. Maybe you wanted to be invisible. You didn't want people to see your power or your worth or your beauty. Maybe you were so beautiful that you had to hide because you didn't want anybody to not like you. Yes, right? Because we all are. We all are that beautiful. God, there's another case in here. Do we dare open that one? All right, here we go. Let's see what's in this one. Oh, stories from my youth. Okie dokie. Oh. I'm too fat. And I'm ugly. Wow. When I was young, I used to get hit with that all the time. Wow. And then you look in the mirror, and what do you see? What do you see? You see what you thought you had or what you thought you were, instead of the phenomenal beauty that you are. Because you still have this in your subconscious mind. You go down a couple levels and you think that you're done with it and you're really good with everything, and all of a sudden, wham, what happens? Something comes in and somebody comes into your life or whatever, and again, that darn button is hit. We gotta take out that button, we really do. But that button is hit again, and then this comes up again. What about, I'm not good enough. Not smart enough. Ooh. I love my sister. My sister and I never got along when we were kids because of things that happened or whatever. But she was always on, well, I thought, Marianne, if you're watching, you know, that's past. But don't get into it. It's okay. Don't call me later. It's fine. But my mom always used to use us against each other. Anybody else have a mom like that? And like the sibling or whatever was always better than you are, and if they did something really great, you kept hearing about that. If you did something really great, you never heard about it. And what you didn't realize is that she was saying the same thing to the other sibling, and so there was rivalry or jealousy or whatever going on there. And my sister was always on the A honor roll. Or so I thought. Now, if you weren't, that's okay, but I only heard about when you were on the A honor roll. And I always made like maybe the B, not always. I was a B or C student because I liked to play. I was a social being and had a lot of things. I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities and a lot of school activities. In the school newspaper, and I was in the student council, and I was in this club and that club and whatever, and band, and I was always involved. So I really didn't have time to study. And I tried to use the excuse that dog ate my family, but it didn't work. Anyway, especially when I had a cat. But, those are things that we had from our youth. And they're still obviously there. Somewhere, buried down. And we catch glimpses of them every once in a while, right? I've been really working on, we have our class, and we're really working on our class. Our first one's really coming up this week because we have kind of an introduction last week. So if you want to join, you can. But this week's on happiness. But last week we were talking about different things. And whenever even I do class with you guys. I do the homework and everything else. I'm right there along with you. But anytime you do class or anytime you do something different, you have all of this stuff kind of coming up. And so I have been working on image, knowing that whatever I am perfect. And if you don't see me as perfect, that's something going on inside of you, not inside of me. That helps a lot, doesn't it? It's about you, it's not about me. Oh, thank God. But, when I do this, or when I go through things, and when I ask the question, unfortunately, I get an answer. And so I was in the shower the other day, and I was telling my class this, and what came up to me, which is one of these youth things, is that I had a crush on this young boy, this boy that was in my class, and he was a cousin of a friend of mine. And I was at their pool during the summer one week, and I don't know, I must have been maybe 8 or 9, maybe 10. My father hadn't passed away yet. And so it had to be like 9 or 10. And you've got the kid body. You're not, in those days it was the kid's body. You didn't have some of them did, but not us. And today it's a lot different. But anyway, so I know we were swimming or whatever, and I had such a crush on him, and I got up and I was doing something. I was going to go up to the restroom or bathroom or whatever. And I remember him saying to me, and I had such a crush on him. And he told my cousin, or my friend, who was his cousin, he says, she'd really be pretty if she wasn't so fat. Now, you'd grown, but, I was standing there in the shower, and it clicked like it was an image that was coming to me. I thought, well, you asked for it, right? To see where this stuff was coming from. And when it turned around, and immediately in my mind, instead of going to that place, because we work on it, right? What came to me is that, well, maybe he had a crush on me too, but he couldn't let me know. He had to say what other people said, because in those days, a 9-year-old kid is not about to say he's got a crush on a girl. Girls, right? You get that stuff? So it could have been that. Who knows? I don't know. I'll never know. And if you're watching, I'm not going to say your name, but get a hold of me. I'm single. Anyway, what can I tell you? What can I say? Anyway, wow, this is the last one. Are you ready for this one? It's got a little dust on it. I don't know. You going to support me in this? This is the bottom here. We're kind of at the. Oh boy. All right, come. You don't want to come out. I know. You want to stay in there. Come on. Stories my parents told me when I was a kid, right? What about stories your parents told you? Not good enough? Did you get that image? Not that they said it, but they implied it in so many ways, not even knowing that that's what they were telling me. And if there are parents out there, oh, just be so loving and accepting and support your kids. Because if you don't support your kids, they become not good enough or have feelings of not being good enough. What about when after my father passed away, my mom was alone with 2 girls, 2 teenagers. What a thing to be alone with, right? Oh, puberty. But she did very well, and I love my mom. She did a really good job. But she was always she was a child of the Depression and whatever. So after my dad passed away, she was coming from not enough to go around, lack and limitation, right? So I remember going to the store with a friend of mine. This is when we had 45s and 33.5s, right? And a new record would come out, and my friend would go to the store, and her mom would always give her money for records, because we'd go on an errand for her. So she always had money to buy the current record, or whatever record was a popular one. And my mom would always say, we don't have enough to do that. Sorry. No, we did. We were not low income. My mom had enough, but her view of it was not enough. So I would go to the store with my friend, and she'd buy her records, and then we'd go over to her house and play the records. And I spend a lot of time at her house. We had a lot of fun. Her mom was a beautician, and she had a shop in the front of the house, and so we used to go in there and play, right, with curlers and hairspray and all this stuff. You used to have a really good time. What else is in here? Do I really want to see this? Life is scary. Da-da. Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Life is scary. Don't open the door. You see those movies? And the guy's outside knocking or whatever, or he's in the other room, and the dumb, stupid person goes over to open the door. And you keep saying to yourself, don't open the door. Don't open that door. Go outside, call the police. And they still do it. And yes, I agree, especially in this day and age, you have to teach your children to be careful. There's no doubt about it. But then there's some things that you get to a point where you create that feeling that no one is safe. You're not safe anywhere. You're not safe doing anything. And I am so glad you're not there anymore. I got rid of you. Why are you in there? Okay. Worry and fear. Wow. That was the other thing that I learned from my parents. Worry and fear. Anybody else worry in here? Am I the only worrier? How about fear? Afraid to step outside of that comfort zone or that box. Are we afraid of any of that? To start the new thing? To believe we're worthy of it? To believe we're good enough for it? I'm going to leave that on the stage. That's okay. Just close the lids. That's down in your subconscious mind. We all have that baggage. We all have that stuff that we carry around with us. And it gets triggered by different things that happen in our lives. I've done my best. Let go and let God. Worry won't help the situation, and it won't make me feel any better. Anybody get to that point? You're in the middle of a worry or in the middle of something, and you say, wait a minute, this isn't going to help anything. It's certainly not going to change anything. Wow, God's stepping in to say, hey, I'm right here. I'll go now and trust that whatever happens is for my highest good. How many times do we say or ask for our highest good or the highest and best good for everybody and anybody in the world around us in our lives? No, we usually want to say, I hope that guy just gets or whatever is going on. We just want to bambaste somebody. or bamboozle or whatever else. Do you know that commercial that the guy says, I'm bamboozle? And the guy says, what's bamboozle? Shenanigans, trickery. It's a cute name, bamboozle. Maybe I should name my dog that. Bambi or whatever. I was out collecting my dog toys this morning. I have 2 dogs and I have a toy basket. And both of my dogs now take their toys and they play with them and then they take them outside. I have not taught them to bring them in or put them back in the toy box. So I have toys kind of all over scattered. So this morning I'm out collecting toys and I thought to myself, God, I should teach them to bring them in. And I'm collecting these toys and I thought about, well, this is just like kids collecting toys, right? And I thought, it took me back to the awe and the wonder. These animals are in the moment, aren't they? They're just out there playing. They're having fun. They're throwing their toys around. They're running through the grass after each other. And they're grabbing the other one's toy and running away with it. They're in the moment. And I thought kids are the same way, aren't they? Until we learn all of the stuff that's in here. We learn this stuff. That we aren't born with this. We're out with the dogs running and playing and having a good time. Just being what we came here to be. And then we start stacking this stuff up. I am attracting everything that is for my highest good. Say that with me. I am attracting everything that is for my highest good. How many people can really believe in this? For a minute, right? Until something else happens. There are so many things in our lives that we have taken into the subconscious mind, and it keeps playing it over and over and over again. And then what we do is we read books, we see magazine ads, we watch television or commercials, we watch all of this stuff, and then we realize that we're not good enough, pretty enough, smart enough, or whatever, because we don't use Prel. Used to be Prel commercials, the long, and now they're all different commercials. But that long, glorious hair, and what is it, Eve Longcrane or whatever, with her beautiful hair, and she's throwing it around, and it's just twirling around her whole body, and it's shining. How can you compete with that? Or models or whatever in magazines. Most of them say they're all airbrushed. How can you compete with that? I love Dove, because the Dove commercials, they use real people and they don't touch them up. It doesn't matter what size you are, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how old you are. They are for everybody. And I'm not telling you to go use Dove soap, okay? But I just love what's behind their commercials because it's beauty. That's what matters. It's beauty. And when you look in the mirror, what I want you to see is that beauty. Or handsomeness. If you're a guy, you don't want to look at beauty. But you are beautiful. I will tell you that. You are beautiful. But when you look at yourself, when you look at your life, what do you want? Are you living it to its fullest? Let's say this again. I'm attracting everything that is for my highest good. Let's go. I'm attracting everything that's for my highest good. Are we? We're attracting everything that's for our highest good. Now, how do we do this? All of the stuff in here, or anything that's in you. We go down and we keep going down, and you keep going down, and you keep going down. And when you take classes, or you read things, or you do things, or you treat, these things are going to start coming to the surface to allow you to have a chance to see how untrue they are. Those are somebody else's bad day. Remember, my sister's teachers used to say, because I would get a B or a B minus on something, and say, why can't you be like your sister? Joe's got A's in my class. And I wanted to say, well, I'm 2 years younger. No, you didn't get that. Okay, that's fine. But it doesn't matter, because And teachers, if you're listening, don't compare your students either. Because they knew that my potential was. They saw potential more than what I was putting out. And I admit that. I would rather go play than do my homework. Anybody else in this room with me? We could do a play group, you know? I would. I'd rather go play. I didn't want to sit somewhere and read history. Oh, I think history was my worst subject. I did not like history at all. I'd open that book and go, nice way to start homework, right? Put your mind in the right place instead of saying, oh, whoopee, here I go, knowledge. Couldn't stand it. Now, algebra on the other side. Math, algebra, science, oh, I love that stuff. Physics, chemistry. Ooh, I couldn't wait to get in the chem lab. Oops. There I am. Getting ahead of me there. But I couldn't wait to get in, the algebra and physics and geometry and whatever. I love numbers. I thought they were so exciting and so fascinating because numbers never lie to you. They never lie to you because anytime you put 1 and 1 together, you always get 2 or whatever. Yeah. Jesus said, wherever more than one or more, wherever there are more than one gathered in my name, I am there. But you see, the thing is that you don't have to be gathered in more than one. And I never understood that, or when I got into this teaching, I didn't understand it, because I'm there already. I'm one with already, right? I don't have to be with somebody. I'm already with you guys, right? I'm in your hearts. I'm in your energy field. You feel me sometimes during the week just tapping on your shoulder? That's me. Saying, wake up. Wake up. Life is too short to sleep through it. Or too long, whatever way you want to look at it. We are energy. We are everything, everywhere, at all times. Wow, that's a big responsibility. Say with me, I am beautiful. No, it's beautiful. I am beautiful. Yay. I am smart. Now, how many of you believe that? When you said it, how many of you really felt it? Or did something inside of you, there you go, something inside of you, I only got 2 hands over here. Come to my class on Tuesday, you guys. The rest of you, I'll expect to see you there. But what happens is the fact that we say the words, we say affirmations, we do what we think we need to do, but it doesn't change anything because we don't feel it. And it's that feeling vibration that pushes it out and brings it back to us. We don't feel it. So say with me, I feel it. This is kind of fun. Let's see, what else can I have you say? It's so true. We say it, but we don't mean it. And so it's the meaning space, it's the feeling space, it's that vibration that we push through that brings all of that magnificence, that attracts our highest and best good. Raymond Charles Barker, it's a book that I'm reading now, but he also did The Power of Decision. And making a decision about doing something opens a door kind of over here. And it's just kind of blinking at you. Oh, I'm going to decide to do this. And this door is opening wider, and it's blinking at you. And it's blinking at you. And it's blinking at you. It says, I'm here. Look at me. And so often, we're looking at this side. We're not looking over here. Or within is where it really is. And opportunities come up, and people come into our life that will help us do whatever it is that we finally made a decision about. And what do? Anybody doubt in here? Doubt and fear come up? Right? Have you ever had an idea for something and you thought, I could never do that? Is that the only one? Come on. You had an idea and you don't act on it, and it's just so clear, and you know exactly, but you don't know how to do it. But instead of trusting the universe that gave you the idea for a reason, that you attract the right people inside of you or to you. So instead of doing that, you doubt yourself. You say, I could never do that. I'd never know how to do that. That's ridiculous. And then a few months later, or whatever, all of a sudden you'll see a commercial for whatever your idea was. Yeah, I hear that. Me too, yeah. And you thought, if I'd only followed through. If I'd only followed through. Because obviously that person followed through. There's only one intelligence in this universe, and it's going everywhere, and whoever takes it first is the one that's going to get it. Right? It's being here now that's important. There's no past and there's no future. Time is a very misleading thing. All there is ever is the now. We can gain experience from the past, and we can't relive it. Oh, we can't relive it. We can't relive it. We can't relive it. We can't relive it. Okay, it's done. We can't relive it. And it's, go back. Hello, there you go. How many times do we want to relive it, though? How many times do we relive it when something comes up and reminds us? You start remembering that thing that happened. Or if somebody says something, you place the blame on them for something that somebody else did to you. Have you ever recognized somebody that you've never met before? Really? Have you ever recognized somebody you've never met before? Because they look like somebody, somewhere. And you think to yourself, God, I know that person. But it's a characteristic, it's something, it's a look. And then you start treating them the way you treated that person. I've been there. And I've had people treat me. Oh, you look just like my aunt. Oh, do I? I hated her. Oh, do I? Okay, let's not get around that one. So where do you go from there? Well, maybe it's time to make up with her. She's dead. Okay. I guess there's nothing we can do then. Have a good life. And we can hope for the future, but we don't know if there is one. Wow. That hits it right here. We don't know if there is one. We only have now. We only have now. We only have now. We only have no. Oops, we only have now. We only have now. We only have now. We only have now. But how often do we live there and carry it around with us? And how often do we live here and pack the bag again and take it with us? Always. Always, always, always. I got more D's for you. You do our daily diligence and daily disciplines. There's some more D's for God. Go to God. And we wonder, okay, how do we get past that? And this is what it is. How do we let go and let God? How do we allow ourselves to be that phenomenal power and beingness that we are? Diligence, perseverance, determination to perform a task. Conscientiousness. Conscientiousness. What's conscientiousness mean? Diligence. Being there. doing, being, bringing it to the surface, dealing with it now, not later. But so many times this stuff comes up, right? And we don't want to deal with it. I don't want to see some of this stuff that comes up. I was in that shower when that image of the young man telling me I was fat came up. And I stood there for a minute saying, thank God I'm not in front of a mirror. Really. But see, it didn't last long. And that's what this teaching is about. It's doing one step at a time. Due diligence. God gave us the gift of life. It is up to us to give ourselves the gift of living well. Voltaire. Now, this man lived in 1694. Gosh, you know, it's been here for a long, long time, but more before him even. God gave us a gift of life. We're here to live it. We're here to be part of it. And we're here to live it well. Take a deep breath. I am living life well. I am living life well. This is kind of fun. I'll just keep going with this. It's so true. And it's a choice. Ooh, there's that word. I didn't put choice down there because it was a C, not a D. But it's a choice. When you get up in the morning, what do you say to yourself? Good morning. Or, this morning. How do you start life? How do you live out your day? What do you do to get excited about life? Even if you're going to work, start looking at it from a different perspective. Maybe you don't like your job. It's up to you to change your perspective. Because you're the only one that can. I cannot come to work with you and tap you on the shoulder and say, change your perspective, change your perspective, change your perspective. Oh, I should do a parrot, right? Change your perspective, change your perspective, change your perspective. Sounds like Woody Woodpecker rather than a parrot, you know. But change your perspective. Change the way you're looking at the situation that's going on around you and take a deep breath. Step back if you have to. How many of us take a time out? Anybody take a time out during the day? I don't mean lunch. I don't mean your break time. I mean when something is stirring or something is going on, or you get into the suitcase again, right? Whichever level you're on, and you start feeling and thinking this stuff, that you give yourself a time out. And that time out says, what? I am beautiful. I am smart. I live life to its fullest now. I see my co-workers as the angels they are. No fruit? Okay. No spoiled fruit. How hard is that to say when you're in the middle of something with one of your co-workers, or that they bug you? If a coworker bugs you, step back and realize they're just a lesson for you to learn. Because it's something about yourself you have to learn, not them. So send them love. How hard is it to send somebody that you really, who's really kind of pushing your buttons, love? You'd step back, take a deep breath, and say, I love you. Not out loud, please. Oh, Reverend Maggie told me to say I love you, okay? But just say it in your mind, feel it in your body, and your whole energy is going to shift and change. Discipline. Discipline is doing what you know needs to be done, even if you don't want to do it. How many times do we really know what needs to be done? Really? We do, don't we? Most of the time we know what needs to be done. And we sit there, we fool ourselves. We tell ourselves a lie. I don't know how to do it. Do I really want to do this? Nah. And I'm talking about the daily disciplines here. So what are the daily disciplines? Meditation, prayer, reading, journaling, dreaming, and writing a new story. Meditation. Meditation can be anything. It's walking around the halls of work, sitting at your desk, and just taking a deep breath, closing your eyes and saying, God is here too. No matter what is going on, God is here too. Prayer. You're learning prayer. Treatment work. There are 5 steps to prayer. If you want to learn more, come to my class. Reading. Reading every day. You've got the Science of Mind magazine out there. Read. Journaling. Journaling is where you just start writing. You write down everything that's going on in your life, and then you let it go. You release it and let it go. Dreaming, I had somebody tell me, well, I daydream. I know it's not a good thing. Daydreaming is wonderful. Dreaming, making decision, set a focus on something, and write a new story. How do we write a new story? You take this and you throw everything away and you start brand new. I am a beautiful, phenomenal expression of God. I have everything, yay! And you start seeing it and you write about it in every detail. And just let it go, knowing it's already yours, feeling the space that it's already yours. And then just watch as the magic happens. You can write your own story. You're doing it now. You are. You're doing it now. With every thought, every day, everything you do, you're writing a story. Write your own. Write a new one. Don't keep taking the old stuff with you. The best thing in life is achieving something that someone said you couldn't do. Right? How many times did somebody say, what? You can't do that. Guess what? You can do anything. You're not too old, too young, too rich, too poor, too big, too small, thank you, too big, too small, too outgoing or too shy, too ambitious or too lazy. You're you, and you are just right. God is in control. Just relax. Have a phenomenal week. Know that you are in charge and choose to have a phenomenal life. It's yours for the choosing, for the thinking, for the doing. Go to classes. Go online and do some meditation. Learn meditation. There's so much to life, and I want you to live it fully, completely, lovingly. And so it is. Thank you.